All right, in this video, I'm going to be talking about what is happiness. On the surface, this seems like a really easy question, right? Just what is happiness? It seems like something that we should all intuitively know, but in my experience and conversations and things, it seems like happiness gets used in sort of a couple different ways. So in this video, I kind of want to break down some different pieces and then give out a definition to be used for sort of the rest of this time, right? On the surface, the word happiness seems to mean sort of a heightened emotional state. But at the same time, a lot of people speak about happiness in a different way. So by that I mean, if somebody talks about their life, right? They say, I'm not happy with my life. Typically, they don't seem to mean I am not currently in an elevated mood. They seem to mean something else, right? That there's some sense of sort of purpose or meaning that's missing. So when I think about happiness and having looked at a bunch of different things, the way that it breaks down in my head is happiness is sort of a combination of three factors, right? It is the conglomeration of sort of positive experiences, and positive experiences fall in either the bucket of purpose and meaning, and that basically means, are you interacting with the world in a way that is meaningful to you? The second one is emotionally, right? Do you have sort of these heightened positive emotions that people typically call happiness as well? And the third one is sort of these positive physical feelings, right? So it's sort of this metaphysical or just like purposeful sense of happiness, an emotional sense of happiness, and a physical sense of happiness. Now, when I talk about mindscaping and optimizing, I am looking to optimize those three things, right? So by following sort of this framework, you can get into those, you can break down those three pieces and then find ways to optimize them and increase the amount of time that you are feeling positive experiences. And sometimes these things are a little bit at odds, right? So, for example, someone might take on a really difficult job, but find the work meaningful, right? Like, let's say they're trying to cure cancer or something, and that may be emotionally taxing. They may get frustrated and things like that. Typically, we see that people want purpose as the highest of those three types of happiness, right? Typically, when there are conflicts between those three, if you ask people what their best self would do, they would be working towards this purpose piece. Now, a lot of times we can get trapped and bogged down in the other two, right? We can get trapped in sort of this physical pleasure or this emotional pleasure of just having a better day and miss out on some of the purpose pieces. But it's not very often that people would say they would rather have those experiences rather than something meaningful. So this framework, the best way to sort of think about it is, how can we optimize for purpose? And then secondarily, how do we optimize our emotions? And then tertiarily, how do we optimize our physical sensations, right? Because there's no reason to trade those things off if you don't have to. In some instances, you may have to work extra hard, and that may be physically taxing or emotionally taxing. But in some instances, you can change things in a way that simply improves things. So, for example, if you have some sort of back pain, doing some physical therapy or some sort of stretching or something can increase the amount of time we feel positive experiences physically without having any sort of trade-off. So, the whole point of this framework is to optimize between those three while keeping in mind sort of the trade-offs. So it can get a little bit tricky, but at the core, these understanding and executing these sorts of trade-offs are the types of things we need to do to optimize our happiness. Hopefully that helps you understand a little bit better the definition of happiness that we're working with here, and hopefully that gives you an idea of how you can optimize happiness, right? There are many other nuances that we won't go into here, but at a high level, these are some of the ways that you can start conceptualizing happiness to figure out how to optimize it. That's all for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please take a second to subscribe, as it really helps out a lot. If you're looking for more content, there's all sorts of information over at howtohappy.com. And if you want something a little bit more condensed and concise, I've also written the book Mindscaping, which is essentially a framework for optimizing happiness. So we'll have the link there as well. And that's all I've got. Thanks again. I'll see you next time.